In a quiet suburb of Seattle, Washington, life flowed calmly and predictably. Neat houses with well-kept lawns, friendly neighbors, and a low crime rate created an illusion of safety and well-being. However, on the night of June 14, 2023, that illusion was brutally shattered. The body of 28-year-old Mia Thompson was discovered in her own home. The initial inspection of the crime scene revealed no obvious signs of foul play, but detectives immediately sensed that there was more to this tragedy than a simple accident. The ensuing investigation soon uncovered a complex web of lies, betrayal, and revenge, centered around three young people whose lives were inextricably intertwined. Mia Thompson was born and raised in Seattle, the only child of a successful lawyer and a schoolteacher. She grew up surrounded by care and attention. Her parents did everything to give her the best: private schooling, music lessons, and sports activities. Mia was a sociable and cheerful child, easily making friends and adored by her teachers. At the age of 8, Mia met Chloe Baker, who had moved to their neighborhood from another state. The girls quickly became friends, bonding over their shared love of drawing and horseback riding. From that moment, they were inseparable, spending all their free time together, sharing secrets and dreams for the future. The school years flew by. Mia and Chloe went through their first crushes, disappointments, and victories together. They supported each other in everything, and their friendship only seemed to grow stronger with time. After graduating from high school, both were accepted to the University of Washington. Mia chose to study law, following in her father's footsteps, while Chloe decided to major in psychology. It was at university during their second year that Mia met Ryan Caulfield, a tall, athletic student from the economics department. He immediately caught her attention. They met at an interdepartmental party, and there was an instant attraction between them. Ryan was captivated by Mia's intelligence and sense of humor, and she admired his ambition and drive. Their relationship developed quickly. Within a few months, they moved in together, renting a small apartment near campus. Mia was over the moon with happiness. She often confided in Chloe, sharing how lucky she felt to have met such a wonderful guy. Chloe always supported her, happy for her friend's joy. After graduating, Mia landed a job at a major law firm, while Ryan started his career at an investment company. Both worked hard, striving to build successful careers, but they also found time for leisure. Every weekend, they would plan trips together, hiking in the mountains, coastal getaways, or trying new restaurants in the city. Their Instagram accounts were filled with photos of the happy couple, sparking envy among their friends and acquaintances. On Mia's 27th birthday, Ryan proposed to her. It happened during a romantic dinner on the rooftop of one of Seattle's tallest buildings. Mia, unable to hide her tears of joy, said yes. She immediately called Chloe to share the news and asked her to be her maid of honor. Chloe sincerely congratulated her friend, though Mia sensed a strange tone in her voice. The following months were filled with joyful wedding preparations. Mia was certain that her life had finally achieved perfect harmony. She had a job she loved, a wonderful fiancé, and her best friend by her side, always there for her. She could never have imagined that soon her perfect world would collapse, and those she trusted the most would betray her in the cruelest way. The beginning of Chloe and Ryan's relationship was accidental and unexpected, even for them. It happened at a party celebrating Mia's promotion at the law firm. While Mia was engrossed in work discussions with her colleagues, she didn't notice when Ryan and Chloe ended up alone on the office balcony. The conversation started innocently enough. They were talking about Mia's upcoming birthday gift, which they had planned to buy together. However, after a few glasses of champagne, the conversation shifted to more personal topics. Chloe confessed that she felt lonely after a recent breakup, while Ryan shared his doubts about the upcoming wedding, expressing his fear of losing his freedom. At some point, their eyes met, and a spark ignited between them. Before they could realize what was happening, they were already kissing. The kiss lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to change everything. The next day, both were overwhelmed with guilt. They agreed to forget what had happened and never mention it again. However, despite their intentions, this incident marked the beginning of a forbidden relationship. In the weeks following that party, Chloe and Ryan made every effort to avoid each other, canceling group plans under various pretexts. But the more they tried to stay away, the stronger the attraction between them grew. The turning point came when Mia left for a week-long business trip. Ryan, supposedly by chance, ran into Chloe at a supermarket. They started talking and he offered her a ride home. In the car, the tension between them reached its peak, and they could no longer resist their attraction. From that day on, their secret affair began. They met in secret while Mia was at work or with friends. Chloe and Ryan used any opportunity to be together. Lunch breaks, made-up business meetings, even late-night dog walks became excuses for their rendezvous. Guilt and the fear of being caught only intensified the thrill of their relationship. Every meeting could be their last, which added a special intensity to their connection. They justified their actions by telling themselves it was just physical attraction that would soon fade. But with each passing day, their feelings deepened. To keep the truth from Mia, Chloe and Ryan developed a whole system of signals and code words. They created separate messaging accounts and used prepaid phones to communicate. Every detail of their secret meetings was meticulously planned to leave no trace. However, maintaining the deception became increasingly difficult. Though Mia was busy with work, she started noticing changes in both her fiancé and her best friend. Ryan became more irritable and often stayed late at work. Chloe, always so open, now seemed distant and nervous around Mia. There were moments when both Chloe and Ryan were ready to confess everything. After particularly intimate moments with Mia, when she shared her dreams for the future, Ryan would feel sharp pangs of guilt. Chloe also tried to start conversations with her friend, intending to reveal the truth, but she always changed the subject at the last minute. Their affair continued as Mia and Ryan's wedding preparations progressed. Choosing the wedding dress, finalizing the guest list, and searching for a ceremony venue. All of it became an excruciating ordeal for Chloe and Ryan. Every discussion about the wedding plans made them feel like terrible people, but they couldn't find the strength to end the deceit. The situation reached a breaking point a month before the wedding. During a wedding dress fitting, Mia, glowing with happiness, said to Chloe, "You're the best friend anyone could ask for. I'm so glad you'll be by my side on the most important day of my life." These words were the last straw for Chloe. She realized she couldn't live with the lie any longer. That same evening, Chloe met Ryan at their usual spot, a secluded park on the outskirts of town. She told him that she couldn't continue their relationship and that they needed to tell Mia the truth. Ryan, who by this time had come to realize that his feelings for Chloe were more serious than he had initially thought, agreed. They decided that Ryan would speak to Mia alone first, and then they would tell her everything together. However, they had no idea that Mia had already started her own investigation, driven by growing suspicions and intuition. The events of the following days would forever change the lives of all three, leading to a tragic conclusion that none of them could have foreseen. Mia's suspicions began to form gradually. At first, it was just small inconsistencies in Ryan's stories about his workday or the strange tension that arose whenever the three of them, Mia, Ryan, and Chloe, were together. As an experienced lawyer, Mia was used to paying attention to details, and these small discrepancies didn't escape her notice. The first real red flag came when Mia accidentally overheard one of Ryan's phone conversations. He was speaking quietly, clearly trying not to be heard, and he abruptly ended the call as soon as he saw Mia. When she asked who he was talking to, Ryan claimed it was a colleague from work, but his voice sounded unnatural, and he avoided eye contact. Mia decided not to raise the alarm too early, but began watching her fiancé's behavior more closely. She noticed that he was staying late at work more frequently and sometimes even leaving on weekends, citing urgent business. When she suggested meeting him at the office to grab dinner together, Ryan always found an excuse to decline. At the same time, Chloe's behavior began to change as well. Mia's best friend, who used to be eager to chat for hours, now seemed distracted and distant. Chloe called less frequently, and when they did meet, she often checked her phone, as if waiting for an important message. The tipping point came one day when Mia, having forgotten some important documents at home, unexpectedly returned during her lunch break. As she entered the apartment, she heard voices coming from the kitchen. Ryan, who was supposed to be at work, was quietly talking to a woman. Mia's heart sank when she recognized Chloe's voice. Mia froze at the door, unable to move. She caught fragments of their conversation. "We can't keep doing this. We need to tell her. I don't want to lose her." Every word felt like a knife to her heart. When Mia finally stepped into the kitchen, both Ryan and Chloe jumped back, their faces filled with guilt. What followed was a painful scene. Mia, unable to hold back her tears, demanded an explanation. Caught off guard, Ryan and Chloe initially tried to deny everything, but it didn't take long for them to realize that lies were no longer an option. They confessed to their affair, explaining how it had started and how far it had gone. Mia listened, feeling her world crumble around her. The two people she trusted the most had betrayed her in the cruelest way. She couldn't believe that Chloe, her best friend since childhood, could do such a thing. And Ryan, the man she had planned to spend her life with, had deceived her so deeply. In a fit of rage, Mia threw them both out of the apartment. Left alone, she finally let her emotions take over. Pain, anger, despair. All of it swirled inside her. She couldn't comprehend how her perfect life had so suddenly fallen to ruins. The following days passed in a blur. Mia took time off work, turned off her phone, and locked herself in her apartment. She replayed the past few months in her mind, trying to understand where she had gone wrong, what she could have done differently. Every happy memory was now tainted by the knowledge of the betrayal. Ryan and Chloe tried to reach out to her, leaving messages and letters of apology, but Mia wasn't ready to listen. She felt betrayed and humiliated, and these feelings gradually turned into a desire for revenge. A week after discovering the affair, Mia finally left her apartment. She went to a bar where she had once celebrated her promotion with Ryan and Chloe. Sitting at the counter, for the first time in a long while, she felt something other than pain, determination. Determination not to let the betrayers get away unpunished. That night, as Mia walked home, she began to form a plan. She would use her legal expertise, her keen observation skills, and everything she knew about Ryan and Chloe to make them pay for their betrayal. She didn't yet know exactly how, but one thing was clear: they would regret ever playing with her emotions. And so began a new phase of this story, a phase that would lead to unexpected and tragic consequences for everyone involved in this love triangle. Mia had always been methodical and detail-oriented, qualities that made her a successful lawyer. Now, she channeled these skills into crafting a plan for revenge. Over the next few weeks, she barely left her home, consumed by her thoughts and schemes. The first step was gathering information. Mia carefully analyzed everything she knew about Ryan and Chloe. She recalled every detail of their behavior in recent months, every oddity she had once dismissed as coincidence. Now, all these small signs fit together into a clear picture of deceit. Mia began keeping a journal, writing down all her thoughts and ideas. The pages quickly filled with diagrams, lists, and notes. She considered various courses of action, from public exposure to intricate legal maneuvers. One key part of her plan was to exploit Ryan's professional connections. Mia knew he was working on a major deal that could significantly advance his career. She decided to use this information to strike at his reputation and financial standing. As for Chloe, Mia focused on her career as a psychologist. She planned to anonymously spread rumors of Chloe's unethical behavior among her colleagues and clients, potentially leading to her losing her license. Alongside planning, Mia began laying the groundwork for executing her scheme. She reconnected with mutual friends, portraying herself as a victim of circumstances and garnering sympathy. This would ensure she had support when her actions became public. Mia also started gathering evidence of the affair. She retrieved deleted messages from Ryan's phone, which he had once left at home, and found receipts from restaurants and hotels where Ryan and Chloe had met. She meticulously organized all of this evidence and stored it securely. Financial preparation became a crucial part of her plan as well. Mia transferred a significant portion of their shared savings to a separate account, explaining it as wedding preparations. She also started saving money, aware that her revenge plan might require considerable resources. As her plan developed, Mia became increasingly absorbed in her thoughts of revenge. She stopped socializing with friends and colleagues, entirely focused on her goal. Her appearance changed. She lost weight, and dark circles formed under her eyes from sleepless nights. The final touch to her plan was the idea of using the upcoming wedding as the stage for a public reveal. Mia decided not to cancel the event. Instead, she intended to turn it into a spectacle, with the climax being the exposure of Ryan and Chloe's affair in front of all their guests. A week before the wedding date, Mia set her plan in motion. She sent an anonymous letter to Ryan's company, hinting at potential misconduct in his work on the major deal. She also contacted several of Chloe's clients, pretending to ask for feedback on her services, but subtly planting doubts about her professionalism. Mia meticulously planned every step and every word. She was confident her plan was flawless and would lead to the complete downfall of those who had betrayed her. However, she couldn't foresee how events would spiral out of control and how her thirst for revenge would lead to tragic consequences. The night before the wedding, Mia reviewed her notes one last time, double-checking every detail. She felt an eerie calm as she prepared to deliver the final blow. As she drifted off to sleep, she had no idea that the next day would be her last, and that her carefully crafted plan for revenge would unfold in a way she never expected. June 15, 2023, was supposed to be the day of Mia and Ryan's wedding. Instead, it became a day that would forever change the lives of everyone involved in this drama. The morning began as usual. Mia woke up early, feeling a strange sense of calm. She methodically prepared for the day ahead, putting on a carefully chosen dress. Not a wedding gown, but a strict black outfit, symbolizing the end of her old life. At 10 a.m., Mia arrived at the country club where the ceremony was set to take place. The guests had not yet begun to arrive, and she used the time to ensure all the details of her plan were in place. She strategically placed folders containing evidence of the affair in key spots and double-checked that the presentation she had prepared worked flawlessly. By noon, the first guests began to arrive. Mia greeted them with a strained smile, playing the role of the happy bride. Many noticed her pallor and tension but attributed it to pre-wedding jitters. At 1:30 p.m., Ryan arrived. He looked nervous and confused, clearly not expecting to see Mia at the venue. He tried to speak with her privately, but Mia firmly refused, saying explanations would come later. Chloe appeared at 2 p.m., an hour before the ceremony. Upon seeing Mia, she turned pale and tried to leave discreetly, but Mia intercepted her, inviting her with false warmth to the bridesmaids' room. At 2:45 p.m., with all the guests gathered in the ceremony hall, Mia asked for everyone's attention. Instead of the traditional entrance of the bride, she took the stage and began her meticulously prepared speech. She exposed Ryan and Chloe's betrayal, showing photographs and text messages on a large screen. The guests were shocked, many unable to believe their ears or eyes. Ryan tried to speak, but Mia didn't give him the chance, continuing her damning revelations. Next, Mia moved on to Ryan's professional misconduct, revealing details of his dubious business dealings. She announced that she had already sent all the evidence to his company and law enforcement. The climax came when Mia exposed Chloe's unethical behavior as a psychologist. She read out client reviews she had fabricated herself and declared that she had already filed a formal complaint with the Professional Association of Psychologists. Mia's speech lasted about 30 minutes. When she finished, there was a deathly silence in the room. Ryan and Chloe stood pale and stunned, unable to utter a word. Suddenly, Ryan lunged at Mia, trying to grab the folder of documents from her. A struggle ensued, during which Mia lost her balance and hit her head on the edge of the stage. She collapsed, unconscious, with blood beginning to trickle from the wound on her head. The guests, panicking, started calling for an ambulance. Chloe, being a medical professional, tried to administer first aid, but Mia did not regain consciousness. Ryan, in shock, retreated to the corner of the hall, unable to comprehend what had just happened. The paramedics arrived 15 minutes later, but it was too late. Mia had died from a traumatic brain injury without ever regaining consciousness. The police, who arrived with the medics, began questioning witnesses and collecting evidence. Ryan was arrested at the scene on suspicion of involuntary manslaughter. Chloe was also taken to the station to give her testimony. Thus ended the tragic day that was supposed to mark the beginning of a new life but instead became the end of it. In her quest for revenge, Mia had no idea that her plan would lead to such a horrific outcome. Now, the lives of everyone involved in this drama were forever altered, and a long investigation and trial awaited them to determine the extent of each person's guilt in this tragedy. Over the next few weeks after Mia's tragic death, Seattle was engulfed in shock and confusion. The story of a love triangle ending in death became the leading topic in local news and a subject of endless discussions on social media. Detectives John Murray and Sarah Chun were assigned to lead the investigation. They began by meticulously examining the crime scene. Every detail was recorded, from the arrangement of furniture to the bloodstains on the floor. Particular attention was paid to the folders of documents Mia had prepared for her revelation. It took several days to interview the witnesses. More than 50 wedding guests gave their statements, describing the events of that day. While their stories were mostly consistent, the differing details made the investigators' work more challenging. Ryan remained the primary suspect. He was questioned daily, maintaining that Mia's death was an accident, the result of his attempt to stop her public speech. However, his inability to clearly describe the moments leading up to Mia's fall raised suspicions among the detectives. Chloe, though not directly involved in Mia's death, was also under intense scrutiny. She was questioned about the nature of her relationship with Ryan and Mia, as investigators tried to determine if she had somehow triggered the tragedy. A key part of the investigation involved delving into Mia's past. Detectives discovered her journal, which detailed her revenge plan. This discovery shed new light on the events, revealing just how carefully Mia had been preparing for that day. The financial transactions of all three involved were thoroughly examined as well. Large transfers made by Mia shortly before her death caused the detectives to question possible hidden motives. As the investigation progressed, public opinion became divided. Many sympathized with Mia, seeing her as the victim of betrayal. Others criticized her for taking extreme measures to seek revenge. Ryan and Chloe became targets of public scorn, their careers and reputations irreparably damaged. A month into the investigation, Detectives Murray and Chun concluded that Mia's death was the result of an accident, provoked by her own actions and Ryan's careless reaction. However, the question of Ryan's responsibility remained unresolved. The prosecution, after reviewing the investigation results, decided to charge Ryan with involuntary manslaughter. The argument was that while he did not intend to kill Mia, his actions directly led to her death. Alongside the criminal investigation, civil lawsuits were filed. Mia's parents sued Ryan for wrongful death, seeking compensation for the loss of their daughter. Additionally, the company Ryan worked for initiated an internal investigation into the ethical misconduct Mia had accused him of. Though Chloe was not criminally charged, she faced professional consequences. The Psychological Association launched an investigation into her behavior, which could result in her losing her license. 3 months after Mia's death, Ryan's trial began. The case attracted immense media and public attention. Crowds gathered outside the courthouse every day, some supporting Ryan, others calling for harsh punishment. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Prosecutors presented evidence, including video footage of the incident, witness testimony, and forensic analysis. Ryan's defense argued that it was a tragic accident, with no criminal intent. The trial's pivotal moment came when Chloe took the stand. Her testimony about the development of her relationship with Ryan and Mia's reaction to its exposure shed light on the emotional state of all parties on the day of the tragedy. The jury deliberated for 2 days. In the end, they reached a verdict. After 2 days of tense deliberation, the jury returned a verdict. Ryan was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but with a recommendation for leniency. The decision reflected the complexity of the case and the ambiguous circumstances leading to Mia's death. The reading of the verdict elicited an emotional response in the courtroom. Mia's parents clung to each other in tears, while Ryan, pale and gaunt, sat motionless, staring blankly ahead. Chloe, who had attended every session, quietly sobbed in the back row. Judge Marcus Holder, known for his fairness and measured approach, took a week to review the case before delivering the sentence. During this time, public opinion once again became divided. Some called for the harshest punishment for Ryan, while others advocated for mercy, given the tragic circumstances of the case. On the day of sentencing, the courtroom was packed. Judge Holder began by providing a detailed analysis of the case. He acknowledged the tragic nature of the situation for all involved and emphasized that no one emerged victorious from this story. Mr. Caulfield, the judge addressed Ryan. While your actions were not intentional, they resulted in the death of a person. You bear responsibility for your behavior, which began long before that fateful day. Your betrayal and deception laid the groundwork for this tragedy. The judge then moved to the sentencing. Considering all the circumstances of the case, the jury's recommendation for leniency, and your lack of a criminal record, the court sentences you to 5 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 3 years. Additionally, you are required to undergo psychological rehabilitation and complete 1,000 hours of community service upon release. The court's decision was met with mixed reactions. Many considered the sentence too lenient, while others saw it as fair given the circumstances. Ryan seemed relieved, knowing the punishment could have been far more severe. After the sentencing, Mia's parents made a public statement. They expressed disappointment with the leniency of the punishment but said they were willing to accept the court's decision and focus on preserving the memory of their daughter. Although Chloe was not criminally convicted, she faced serious professional consequences. The Psychological Association decided to revoke her license for 5 years, with the possibility of reconsideration afterward. In the weeks that followed, Mia's story, along with Ryan and Chloe's, became a subject of widespread discussion. The public debated issues of ethics, fidelity, revenge, and the consequences of impulsive actions. Many saw the story as a cautionary tale of how quickly life can spiral out of control due to lies and betrayal. A month after the sentencing, Mia's parents founded a charity in her name, aimed at supporting victims of domestic violence and helping people in difficult life situations. They hoped that their daughter's tragic story would help others avoid a similar fate. Ryan began serving his sentence in a maximum security prison. He agreed to an interview with a local newspaper, where he expressed deep remorse and acknowledged that his actions had led to irreversible consequences. Chloe, having lost her license and faced with public condemnation, decided to leave Seattle. She moved to a small town in the Midwest, hoping to start a new life far from the memories of the tragedy. This story left a deep mark on everyone involved, serving as a reminder of how easily impulsive decisions and actions can lead to devastating consequences. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories that are coming out every day.